See, look, this is, a very peaceful part of the world, by all accounts.
It is a very peaceful, beautiful part of the world, and I have spent a lot of time in this area. Not this area specifically, but this type of area. This is just farmland. We're at the cut. We're out in the country. Here you go.
Yeah, look, it's amazing. This is
the Midwest at its best, and you're seeing, as an Englishman,
we're going to see some tractors.
We're going to see some tractors.
We see that in rebates. But the worst thing with it is you leave it to the last minute, you do all of this buying, so it's all backloaded, and then you forget about it. And when I say you forget about it, what's happened is you've done all of this buying, you've backloaded it, and you build your budget on the basis, we hit a 4% rebate last year. But what you forget is you hit the 4% because you actually backloaded everything.
Mm-hmm.
Your natural buying will not get you to 4%. So then the following year when you're trading, if you're not careful, what happens is you can start to get towards the end of the year and you're like, we're missing budget. Why? And everyone's like, well, why have you budgeted for that much rebate? And then the penny drops and you're like, that's right. Yes, what we did last year, we now need to keep doing it every year. Otherwise, we're going to have a gap in our budget. And so you've got to be very careful when you backload all of your buying.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying it's something you shouldn't do, but just be mindful of that when you're setting your forecasts and budgets. That rebate rush, can be really problematic for supply chains. If you think about it, you've just been overtaken by a lorry.
Mm-hmm.
There's only so many lorries on the road. So if demand suddenly doubles because we've got, as we talked about earlier, Black Friday.
Yep.
Black Friday could be a real challenge for supply chains. Because again, it does encourage this consistency. Now, I understand the rationale for Black Friday before anybody gets too upset about why, no, I get it. It's a good way of clearing.
In theory, you should be prepping for that. You should be ordering enough, making sure, everything has to be executed on Black Friday. So you should be planning ahead, right?
Yes, you should. Doesn't always happen.
Yeah.
But then also when you think about Cyber Monday, you can do all the prep in the world for Cyber Monday, but all of those delivery companies, it's not like a UPS suddenly have twice the number of trucks the following day to deliver all those goods. It's not like those warehouses and distribution centers where everything was suddenly have twice as many employees, or twice as many racking bays for all of this product. So when you're trying to decide these things, do you resource at your highest demand point? Where do you actually resource your operation? Because if it's too high, you're massively inefficient when demand drops. But if it's too low, your service levels become poor when demand climbs. If you've got consistent demand, that variable or that risk is a lot less. Does that make sense?
Yes, absolutely.
Because when you've already got so many stakeholders involved, I appreciate there's a balancing act between change and resistance to change.
Yeah.
And that is a precarious path that you have to navigate very carefully. Because you need your stakeholders, including your customers, to engage in the process. So yeah, I have the deepest amount of sympathy for anybody who's trying to transform maybe their rebates, because these things are longer term, emotional, and so it's not easy. You have to be at all times incredibly mindful of the relationship, of the emotional side, as well as balancing then your commercial side to this. You're changing this because commercially it's going to be better for you. And you're really going to do your very best to make it commercially better for them as well. Because I think I see rebates that are bad for the supplier and I see rebates that are bad for the customer. This is about equalising all of that. Giving the customers who do really well for you more reward. The customers that don't, less reward, but with opportunity to earn more reward.
Fair.
And you have to explain that to them. You have to explain why you're doing this. You only buy the low margin range from me, as an example. I can't give you a rebate to make my low margin range even lower margin. You must be buying other products elsewhere, bring them to me, and we can do a great piece of business together.
Well, what's a tip that you would give to someone? You say you have to have the confidence to go in and execute all this. Someone who maybe knew rebates were just thrown on their plate at a company, building that confidence, looking at your professional history, leading up to the moments when rebates were handed to you, and now having that confidence to go out, do it.
I think the first thing is understand the business. Understand your business, especially if you're more like a back office role. Make sure that you're not just trying to manage and influence rebates through the lens of a spreadsheet. This is, you've got to understand what kind of personas are you dealing with here. How price sensitive is the market and the individuals you're dealing with? Are you actually, if you're dealing internally, and maybe you're speaking to your sales team, and what you want from your sales team is that they're going to be negotiating with the customers, what type of relationships do they have with these customers?
Yeah.
Are they transactional relationships, or is this something where they're on first name terms, they know, they meet the families, these kind of things? These are all factors you need to take into consideration. And you can see, looking around here, in these homes, the lifestyle they'll have, just sitting on the porch, watching the world go by. Some people will love that, other people won't. It's kind of, again, like your rebate strategy. Passive, are you reactive, or are you...
Stop sign.
Stop sign.